Hello, hello. Happy New Year. My name is Miki Wright, and I want to welcome you guys to Beauty Superstars Talk, which is your backstage pass to experts in beauty. We are in some historic times, and I hope that you're doing well as we move on into our show. And it's like I've been hearing some of the challenges of the new world that we're living in and working in. And I really hope this episode will give you guys a sense of peace and a new perspective on your career. So earlier this week, I shared some details of my very first competition as a student. I had a vision in my head of a haircut with different levels and elevations, and my teachers were saying that it couldn't be done. But I could see it in my head so clearly that I drew it out on paper, and I don't even know how much I've done of that ever since. But I drew that out, and I kept imagining like how I would do it, how I would hold the hair, to get it to kind of wedge out in the back and have like a strong diagonal forward. And there were some lower elevations on some areas that were disconnected. It's like I really could see it. And like I said, I drew it out, but I couldn't practice it. Even I didn't have access to a lot of mannequins and all. And it was a cutting competition. So you had to have a certain amount of hair on the floor. So I couldn't go cutting into it. And the second was I was planning to use that same model for the evening look competition later that day. So long story short, I kept imagining how I would do it, then actually defied the odds, and I actually did it. And I won my very first hair competition as a student, and with that particular haircut. And it was actually on curly hair, which most of the models had straight hair. So it was pretty cool. And I actually won first place. So I was really super excited, as you might imagine. And then I had to move into preparing for the evening competition. And that one was the one that I had practiced for, and I had it down pat, but I completely forgot that her hair would be shorter after the haircut. So it didn't quite work out as well, but I think I may have placed in that, but I definitely didn't get first or anything. But anyway, I enjoyed the process and I did continue on, but I can tell you I learned so many lessons from stepping out on faith, from working with my model, from practicing with my model, believing that I could translate what was in my head onto hair, and putting together her total look in preparation for the competition. Even model selection were some things that I learned. But if you love competing, and if you've ever even thought about it, you're going to love hearing my next guest story. He's none other than Wella hair artist Brenton Lee, and he's won over 20 national and international competitions, and he knows a thing or two about winning in competitions in the beauty industry and even in life. So if you've never thought about competing, or nope, that is not something I want to do, stay tuned as well, because the lessons he's learned by competing from the time he was a cosmetology student at age 16, I believe, to becoming an educator, doing hair for celebrities and red carpet events, editorial work, and owning his own salon may give you just the nuggets you need to transform your own career and actually take it to the next level. So Brenton is the next one of my four beauty superstars under 40. And tonight we're bringing you hope, energy, and some tips for transformation. I'm super grateful. Every week I have the privilege and pleasure to meet with so many amazing Black artists and entrepreneurs who are excelling in the beauty industry, and bring them to you as well. So I want you to know we're just getting started, that this is actually more than a podcast or an interview show. It's actually a movement to encourage Black excellence and entrepreneurship in beauty. So for anyone who's joining us for the first time, I want to say welcome and thank you for being here. And for everyone who's followed the podcast, and for those of you who have supported me throughout the years of my career, I just want to say that there's really no words for me to express my gratitude, but I am deeply grateful. So I invite you guys all to stay tuned, and tonight will be pretty mind-blowing, I have a feeling. And we've got some exciting things that are coming up in 2021, so stay tuned as well. So you may be wondering, how did Beauty Superstars Talk get started? And it was actually born out of the tragic murder of George Floyd and the racial tensions that erupted right after. It quickly all spilled into the beauty industry, which after churches, if you don't know, it's actually still one of the most segregated industries in the country. And so during that time, I had the honor to be on a couple of Zoom calls where there were top Black artists. We were able to meet each other. Some people we knew and some we didn't. And everyone shared stories. And unfortunately for many, there was pain over subtle and not so subtle racially charged events, but no one on that call let it stop them because they were doing amazing things. And I left there feeling super inspired and like these stories just have to be told. And so I've actually expanded my platform to provide a safe space for Black artists to tell their own stories. And again, my name is Miki Wright, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our new Beauty Superstars Talk podcast, which is on Apple or iTunes. And I'll leave a link in the comments as well. And please follow us, tell your friends. And if this speaks to you, please follow us on Apple and on YouTube, which is under Miki Wright. And if you're already on YouTube with us, I want to invite you to subscribe and ring the bell. And so you make sure that you don't miss an episode. So Beauty Superstars Talk, we're here to celebrate Black artists and entrepreneurs who are excelling in the beauty industry, to preserve our history, and to encourage entrepreneurship in our industry. So for myself, I've actually had the pleasure of doing almost anything you can do in the beauty industry, including starting as a struggling hairstylist, becoming an award-winning hairstylist in Per Salon Today magazine, owning one of the 200 fastest growing salons in the country, as well as helping thousands of other stylists and salon owners to get more clients and make more money as a national educator. Also second generation in the business with both a mom and sister in it as well. And you could definitely say that I love the beauty industry and I'm really grateful for its legacy of entrepreneurship. So we're here to inspire, to educate you, educate the next generation of beauty superstars, and to heal our beloved industry. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guest, Mr. Brenton Lee. And I want to share just a little bit about him before we jump right into his story. So I'm going to read this part, but Brenton Lee started cutting hair at the age of 14. He found his niche as a hair artist and enrolled in beauty school at 16 years of age. Enrolled into LA Trade Tech is where he studied cosmetology and business. Brenton Lee has competed in numerous hairstyling competitions nationwide, winning over 20 hairstyling awards. He is owner and stylist of Brenton Lee Salon, which was launched in 2012, a trendy salon in Pasadena, California, and a design team artist and educator for Wella. Brenton Lee travels throughout the U.S. training and teaching at major hair shows. One of his main focus for the industry is to give back by teaching young professionals and offering his talents to support charities. As a celebrity hairstylist, his work has been featured on red carpet events and TV shows, working with celebrities such as Nia Long, Lindsay Lohan, Melody Scott Thomas, MC Lyte, and Susan Anton. And that's quite a lineup there. He loves to be behind the scenes and has worked on many fashion shows and editorial photo shoots. He's been published in national hair magazines such as Modern Salon Magazine, American Salon Magazine, Hair Show Magazine, Canadian Hairdresser, BehindTheChair.com's magazine, for all of his award-winning looks. And Brenton Lee's forte is to sculpt his clients' hair to fit their face, shape, personality, and lifestyle. Still oh so young and driven with his talents, inspire him to be innovative and imaginative when creating trend-setting hairstyles. So welcome. It's like, wow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's like I'm super excited that you're here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
thank you for what you're doing too. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been a fan of yours kind of behind the scenes for quite a while. So it's like we just spoke in person a week or two ago. And so it's really quite an honor to have you on today. Your work is fantabulous. For anyone who hasn't seen it, definitely check it out. And let's kind of jump right in. It's like, I know you started young, got the interest at 14. And started cutting hair at that time, but what was it that kind of got you that spark lit for you?
Yeah, let's see. I started really young, and it's interesting. It's something I just started doing. I got to this age where I thought I had to look cute. I thought I had to look good.
Right.
My mom used to cut all of our hair. I got 3 brothers, 1 sister, so there's 5 of us. Mom used to do our hair in the kitchen. You know how it goes. Mama cut. Right. Yeah, I think I just got to this age where it's like, you know what? I want to cut my own hair. I need to look good. and who I never thought that I was going to really, really take it serious, but I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. I started cutting my own hair. Of course, that's how it started. I started
Okay.
cutting my brother's hair and friends, after school or whatever. And it's something I really, so I honestly, I think it sparked from day one. I kind of knew right away that I love doing this. And this is, and then, you're in high school and it's like, okay, what college are you going to go? Are you going to college? I was like, you know what? I want to do hair. I want to cut hair. So yeah, started and enrolled in beauty school when I was 16 years old. So something I kind of just jumped right into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you were in high school, I mean, was it part of a high school program or was something separate?
Yeah, it was like an after school ROP program.
Okay.
So I would, I think it was my junior or senior year. I think I started at the end of my junior year. I would do, 4 periods. And then after lunch, I would go to, it's like an after school program. So I would go to beauty school from like 1 to 5 or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And tell us what ROP is.
I forget what the actual ROP stands for.
I think it's California.
Occupational program or something like that.
Okay.
I forget what the R is.
Got it.
But anyway, yeah, ROP program was basically like you can go to your trade or whatever you're planning to do after school. You can start doing that in high school.
Got it.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm really glad the high school provided a program like that. It was pretty cool. It got me on the right foot pretty fast. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So this whole series this month is about 4 under 40. And so would you share with us your age? I don't usually ask my guests that, but
oh yeah, I don't mind. I'm 32.
32. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So
how long have you been in the
I can, if you do this, under 40, I can do it 8 more years. So.
Okay, right. That's pretty cool. So how long have you actually been in the industry?
Yeah, so I ended up getting my license when I was 18.
Okay.
My license when I was 18, started at 12. So yeah, it's crazy. 12 to 32, that's 20 years. So I've been doing it for 20 years, but I wasn't always a professional. I was a kitchen beautician for a while.
Right.
You know how it goes.
Yep.
You know how it goes with us who love doing hair. We started wherever we could, in the bathroom, backyard, whatever.
Back porch.
Yep. Anywhere. And then I got my license when I was 18. So I've been licensed with 18, 32. What's that, 14 years?
16, I think.
16.
Is that right? Yeah. Well, no, you might be right. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in there. But that's awesome. That's awesome. And how did you transition, like, from the men's, like you were doing your own cut and your brothers or what have you, but how did you transition into women? Was that?
Yeah, so this is a funny story. And that's funny too, because I strictly wanted to be a barber. I remember I was cutting my own hair, I was cutting my brother's hair, and it was like, yeah, I want to be a barber. I remember I was in high school, right? And I was starting point guard in high school, right? I was starting point guard. I was in track and everything like that too. So I was an athlete. I thought I wanted to go to the NBA. That was my goal then.
Got it.
Then I realized, like, no, Brenton, you're too short. You ain't going to the NBA. And so then, I'll just never forget. I got into it, but then it was like different hairdressers and people would be like, why don't you go to beauty school? And I remember, like, what I look like in a beauty school? I'm a barber. I'm an athlete, Like, what I look like in a beauty school? Then I started hearing, like, hey, but you'll be around pretty girls all day, you'll make more money doing hair. And I was like, me being so young, immature, I was like, sounds good to me.
Yeah, those are two pluses, right?
Well, you're telling a teenage boy you're going to be around girls all day and you're going to make a lot of money.
Right.
So anyway, I did. I went to beauty school when I was, like I said, at 16. But yeah, I fell in love with it. I really did. I fell in love with it. And then, slowly but surely, as I started getting into different competitions and things, and you're learning hairdressing. Yeah.
Okay.
So to this day, I'm still doing both. I still love men's cutting. I still love barbering. I still, can cross over
Okay.
I've done barber competitions, I
Oh,
still
really?
love both, but if I had to choose, if you said, Brenton, choose one or the other, I would say, okay, I enjoy, doing hair, women's hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So tell us about that first competition because I mean, evidently it lit a spark in you, or you had some lessons that you learned from it that just made it so that you wanted to keep going. So what was that first competition like?
Yeah, I'm really thankful I went to a school that was very competition driven. It was a very the school was already doing a lot of competitions.
Oh,
That was the culture of the school.
nice.
And I remember when I went to Trade Tech. So let me reverse a little bit, because when I started school, right, when I was 16, that was in that ROP program. I
Okay.
had started and I had about 900 hours, and I dropped out of beauty school. So I was a beauty school dropout very early. I
Yeah,
was,
tell
I'm
us
more than
about that.
I'm more than halfway done. So that was my first school. And then, of course, like my senior year in high school, I wanted to play basketball. So I finished basketball and I did track. And then after high school, I went back to beauty school. And that's when I went to LA Trade Tech.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
LA Trade Tech, that was the school where it was just like, wow, it was part of their culture at that school. Was like, man, they're doing competition. So I just will never forget. I remember it was like my freshman year. It was right after I graduated from high school. I started like a summer program. And I
Mhm.
just remember being in beauty school, and I was seeing like the senior cosmetologists, the ones that are about to graduate, and they're doing all these competitions and training. And I was just like, wow, that's cool. I like, you never even knew that world kind of existed.
Right.
And I was just like, I want to do it. I want to do it. So I remember, yeah, I was a freshman. I think I had like 100 hours, 150 hours or something. And I
Uh,
was like, I want to do it. And I went to one of the instructors, Miss Main, and Miss Main was like, okay, do it, Brenton. So my actual first competition was two different competitions in one day.
okay.
I did a barber competition, and I did like a evening hairdressing competition. And I
Okay.
remember I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do both of them. I love both barbering and hair. And yeah, so that first competition, specifically the barber one, I ended up getting first place.
Oh, wow.
Like I felt pretty confident. Yeah. So I already know that's what like sparked the like, oh wow, this is awesome.
Okay.
But the other one, the hairdressing one, I remember like I was just learning, I barely had any hours and everything. But man, I was so nervous. I was so nervous. It was like I remember I was trying to like do this updo and here my hand trying to put a bobby pin in, like but yeah, I think in that one I didn't place. I
Uh,
was in place. I think even in that one I competed against like maybe 25 people from other different schools or something.
wow.
But yeah, that was really it. I remember I was nervous, but I remember the fun and the adrenaline, and you know, I remember all of those feelings I had at that moment, that I was like, okay, I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing this. And so from there, LA Trade Tech was a 2-year program. We did a 2-year program.
Hmm.
So while I was in school, that whole 2 years, every single competition that came up, I entered.
Wow. Wow.
Every single one. And it wasn't even just around California. It was,
Uh,
okay, Bronner Brothers in Atlanta's having a competition, a student competition. I'm going to Atlanta then to go compete.
Okay.
Okay, Chicago has some competitions. Okay, I'm going to Chicago. I tried to do every single competition that I could.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us, like, what were some of your biggest lessons? Because that's a lot of really good training while you're
Hmm.
in school. So, I mean,
Yeah.
really set a strong foundation.
Yeah.
What was like, what do you draw on now that you may have learned then from the competitions?
Yeah. And this is the same thing I still even think of now, or if I'm encouraging someone to enter a competition, it's still the same things. I remember the feelings I had then, which was like, of course you want to win.
Hmm.
You know, don't get me wrong, you want to win. Like you're going to enter to try to win. But for me, I remember it wasn't always about winning.
Hmm.
It wasn't about the trophy. It wasn't about like, the thing for me was I loved doing hair. I loved my craft, and I wanted to excel at it. For myself, I wanted to challenge myself to be great at it. So I remember that was always my motivation, was like, okay, I'm working on this competition. It's doing a few things for me. I'm building my technical skill.
Mhm.
I'm pushing myself creatively. You're thinking outside the box. You know, all those things that you're able to do for a hair competition. Um, you know, it was, for me, it was about my self growth, you know, and pushing myself.
Mhm.
And then, okay, great. If I won, that's the icing on the cake. But for me, it was more focused kind of on that part of it. And
Yeah.
that's really what I encourage, you know, people now. I was like, if you're going to enter, yes, it is about the winning. Don't get me wrong, to win, but enter for yourself. You know, enter to
Mhm.
push yourself to be better. You know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think such a deep and important lesson that we really need to just kind of hone in on, that it's like
Hmm.
really is, like, how do you make yourself better? How do you hone your craft?
Yeah.
Because you love the actual craft of it,
Yep. Yeah. And I remember like some of those competitions we were training for. I remember like we would go to beauty school Monday through Thursday.
Hmm.
And I remember going to school on Fridays and Saturdays and working on competitions from, you know, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So
Right.
you were disciplining yourself to hone your craft, to do things over and over and do it again. You know, my trainer would come in and say, okay, that's great. Make it bigger. Do it again. Okay, come back, make it smoother. Do it again, you know? And I
Okay.
just remember how all those skills just translated right into the salon.
Hmm. Hmm.
It translated right into, you know, trying to build a clientele. It translated right into whatever, teaching people or trying to become an educator and do great work in a quick manner. So it's amazing how like those skills you learn, they just translate into everything I did.
Right, right. Well, I definitely want you to dive in a little deeper on. Let's start with the salon. Like, how did competing help you in the salon?
Yeah. Yeah. I think doing quality work, again, we're talking about you're working on your technical skill
Mhm.
and in a timely manner. And think of
Yeah.
competitions. You remember those time competitions where it's like, right? It's
Yeah.
like do the best work you can in 30 minutes, you know, or you get your model, you got 30 minutes.
Right. Right.
So time, you know, time and technical skills, the same thing that you apply straight into the salon, you know. You don't
Yeah.
have clients there all day long, or
Right.
you know, the details. And I always said too, it's like you set yourself apart as a hairdresser too, because
Mhm.
you know your clients. A lot of times people say people don't know a good haircut from a great haircut, but I sometimes beg to differ.
Yeah.
Your clients know some good technical work, you know.
4 or 5 weeks later, they're gonna know
Exactly,
between a good
exactly.
haircut and
Yep.
a great haircut.
So I used to sometimes kind of like, you know, pride myself on, you know what, I can do good work and pretty quick. I can do good work and pretty quick, you know. And then when you're training your assistants, you know, same thing. It was like you're training them on finishing work and polishing that hair, and you know,
Right.
oh, it's amazing. Yeah, all those skills, you know, it just translates straight into the salon.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's so important for people to really understand, because, as stylists, sometimes we're like, oh, I don't want to do that kind of thing, but it does. It sharpens your skills,
Oh
and
yeah,
like you say, you're gonna be faster in the salon. You're gonna be more proficient in the salon.
oh yeah,
And I don't know if you're familiar with Thomas Hayden, but he was the first
oh,
Black artist to win the world
yeah.
hair thing. Yeah, and I got to work with him, and I also got to judge with him as a co-judge. And so he helped, train us as judges. And he's like, in some of those competitions, they have 6 minutes to come out.
Ooh,
Yeah. And so he's like, that's the key point, is like, when you see that roller placement, when they come in the door, you already know who won, because you can't
mm,
make it in 6 minutes.
yep,
It's either there or it's not there.
yeah, yeah. That's so true.
Yeah.
Wow, Thomas Hayden, that's amazing. I haven't heard his name in a while, but yeah, I knew Thomas Hayden.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And when you talk about discipline, what does that mean to you in your world and experience?
Yeah, discipline, you know, again, going back about like honing in on your skills and in my mind, I always said I wanted to be the best, but that wasn't the best of like trying to compete with anybody. I didn't want to try to compete with nobody. I wanted to compete with myself. I wanted to be the best, So it was like, yeah, you're really honing in on your skills on these competitions. So technically, I wanted to be good. I wanted to be great at what I did, and I think that's really what it did for me. Those competitions.
Yeah. So what does that translate into? Like, we got to see some of your work through the week, and I'm seeing, I've kind of known you as more of a cutter, but obviously you work for Wella and you're a colorist. And when I see your color work, it's like so intricate and so dimensional, and of course it flows with the shape, or the cut or what have you. Tell us what that kind of being the best or honing those skills really looks like in your mind,
Yeah. So, what's very interesting because, like, especially beauty school, it was more styling, combing out hair. So I felt like I got really comfortable at that. And in my head, I told myself, oh, I'm a hairdresser. I'm a hairdresser. I don't cut hair. I don't color hair. I can style the mess out of your hair, though. Right?
That's a good skill to have.
Oh, yeah, because that's the foundation for sure. So then this is what's interesting, though. When I got out of beauty school, I went into a salon, and the mentors that I worked with in the salon were like cutters, amazing cutters. So being around that and started to cut hair, I felt like, okay, Brenton, you're getting pretty good at cutting. So then I said, okay, Brenton, you're a hairdresser. Like, you can dress hair and you can cut hair. And then, so this is the funny thing. Now I'm out of school for about 4 years. And I would do color work, but I was like very basic in my color work. Very, very basic. Like an all over color, root touch up. You want a few highlights? Okay. But anything like very strategic or anything, I was like, oh, no. Go see a colorist,
Okay.
So now this is how it transitioned though. So I was doing a competition for Wella. It's called Trend Vision.
Okay.
So Trend Vision, basically they had different categories. They had a color category and they had a category that was called Young Talent. And in Young Talent, you had to be 5 years or less to enter Young Talent. So I entered every single year. 4 years straight, I entered Young Talent. Then boom, here it comes. Brenton's been out of school for 5 years. And it's like, Brenton, you can't enter Young Talent no more. Now you have to go into the color category. And I was like, ooh, I fit the color. So, what I did was I went and I went through the whole Master Color Expert program.
Okay. And what is that?
Wella teaches a program. It's called Master Color Expert. That you do at the Wella studio. So I was like, okay, Brenton, I want to keep these competitions going. I want to enter Trend Vision, but I can't enter Young Talent anymore. I have to enter into the color category. But I feel so scared and nervous. I'm not a colorist, And I ended up investing and going through that whole Master Color Expert program. It was about a year program, a little less than a year or something. And so that next year, I had to enter the color category. And I'm happy to say that next year, when I first year entering the color category, that's the year I won first place. I won gold medal. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I was like, man, how did you go from 1 year of like, you know what, I hate color and I don't touch color, to like you're named the U.S. national gold winner for color.
Right.
And that was a confidence booster for me. It really was. I think really, of course, the classes, of course, that was the confidence booster. But of course, that competition was the icing on the cake. Like, wow, Brenton, you know what? You actually have gotten decent at color. And from that day forward, I started saying, you know what? I'm not a hairdresser. I'm not a cutter. And I'm not a colorist. I'm a triple threat. I can do all three. I said, I can do all three.
Yes. Yeah.
So going back to what you're saying, I try to, and that's really my focus of my work. I try to say, you know what? I want to show off all three disciplines in all my work.
Okay.
I want to see the hair moving. I want to see maybe some clean lines in there with some hair, and I want to be able to, color the movement in the shape as well. So I always try to think of all three disciplines and how they work out very well into the work I do.
Wow. Yeah. That's why I say you're a phenom. It's like not everyone excels in all three of those areas. And then to where, to actually add the I'm hearing myself echo. Are you hearing it?
No.
No. Okay. Hopefully it's not recording that way, but to have all three of those and then to have elevated it to the level that you've elevated it, to be able to win competitions, because everybody's coming into the competition to win, preparing their, like you say, taking the color classes, doing the color models, spending 12 hours a day, doing their practice, doing the repetition and all of that, and you to come out on top that many times, and you're so young. And like you say, even that transition from 1 year not doing color or just do like really, really basic to winning, you got more than decent in that year.
Thanks. I learned a big lesson though too, which was like, never say you hate something. I was saying I hate color. I'm not a colorist. I'm not a colorist. But the only reason why I was saying that because I wasn't educated in it. So the biggest lesson I learned was like, you know what? Don't say you hate something. Go learn how to do it.
Okay.
And that pushed me to, that situation I was in, because I wanted to enter the competition so badly. It pushed me to, step out my comfort zone in a sense and go learn, go invest in myself and go learn. So
yeah. And I think that's a big word too, invest.
Yeah.
That is part of the equation for success and for winning. Is that willingness to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Did it also shift your concept of what could be accomplished in a year?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I think I've always been a kind of like go-getter of like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it. That's my dad used to say. He used to say, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Just do it. So I've always had that mindset of like, okay, basically I'll jump out on faith. I'm not scared to try and do it, Yeah, I definitely learned a lot that year, for sure.
Okay. And does that also mean you're willing to jump out there and willing to fail?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's interesting. I think I don't even know where I developed this fearlessness of just like, just jumping in and doing it. I think it's my dad. It was like, ain't nothing to it but to do it. And that's just been kind of my mindset with everything. There's nothing to it but just do it. Just do it,
Right.
And that's what happened with even opening a salon. I'm like, man, when you look back, I'm like, how did I open a salon? That was a lot of the things I've done. It was just because, you just do it. Just try to do
it. So how long have you had your salon?
Let's see. We opened in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going on 9 years.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So what was it that made you want to open a salon? And
you know what? I have to give it to I had the best mentors. Even going back to beauty school, I had the best mentor who was helping with competitions. When I wanted to become an educator, I had the best mentors. Nico, Patrick Bradley, these people that, I was 18, 19 years and I was able to work with these guys and kind of get under their wings. Even the first salon I worked with, Nico's business partner and Nico, they had an amazing salon that they're running. So I really have to give my encouragement and success to these people that I surrounded myself with. But anyway, going back to the salon owner part, I was in a salon, in an amazing salon there in California, in Pasadena. And, of course you're there, you're learning, going back to me, just always trying to not scared to really do much and I'll figure it out later. I worked in a salon for about 3 years. And after about 3 to 4 years, I think I was 22 years old. That's when I was like, I'm gonna open my own salon.
Okay.
It definitely had to be the encouragement though of them. I was working at the salon there, and I saw the operation they had and everything. I was like, wow, I would love to do this. And I think, a majority of people getting out of school, I would say 80% of people getting out of school is like, what are you gonna do when you get in the industry? Oh, I'm gonna own my own salon. I'm own my own salon. You know, you always who doesn't say they want to own their own salon?
Definitely.
I mean, it's of course, as we know, it's a lot harder than you think it is.
Right.
It comes with its pain and learning, but yeah. So yeah, when I was 22 years old, that's when we opened the salon.
Okay.
9 years ago.
So tell us about your salon and like, what are the lessons that, you know, the things you didn't expect, the lessons you've learned as an owner?
Yeah, it's so funny. I learned these lessons later. You know, it's like, because in the moment, yeah, you're doing good hair, you're doing well, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing good. So it's kind of like from yourself or people you hear, oh, you're a good hairdresser. You're great. You should open up your own salon. Right. Oh, you're great. You should open up a salon. And then you go, yeah, I am great. I should open.
That's why I coach. It's like,
you go, yeah, I should open my own salon. Or, you know, you get your little pride and ego and you go, oh, yeah, I see what they're doing. It's great, but I can do it better and I want my own, you know? So, of course, I was that young, immature boy. And then, boom, you get into it, you jump into it, and then you go, oh, my goodness, whoo. Nobody told me I had to pay taxes, you know?
Okay.
Nobody told me I had to hire people. Nobody told me I had to, you know, the countless hours after work. Nobody told me I had to work on the weekends.
Okay.
Nobody told me I had to, you know, just all of that. I have an accountant and attorney. I'm like, oh, goodness grief, man. I just want to curl some hair and color some hair.
Yeah, it's a whole nother ball game.
So then, but then it is so funny. I read that in the book too. So, you know, after now you're in this position and you're like, okay, now I need to figure this out. So I started getting into different like business books and things like that. And like, okay, Brenton, if you're going to do this, now you got to invest in this, take some business classes, take some courses, you know, and just going back to what I was saying before, I don't know if you read a book called The E-Myth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that book just opened my brain. But that E-Myth book is talking about the entrepreneur myth. You know, that E-Myth is, okay, I'm good at this. Oh, then I can own my own business, you know? And we really don't count the cost of the what really comes with being a business owner. But it gives some good tips and things in there, and, you know, just other kind of books that I would read. But anyway, yeah, so many lessons. But I would say the biggest lesson I learned, this is the biggest lesson I learned was, and I'll just never forget this. Someone said, you know what, Brenton, you want to be a great salon owner? Then the thing you need to do is hire and train the rest of your career. Hire and train. If you focus on that, hire and train, you'll be a successful salon owner.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes sense. Okay. Hire and train. Yeah. So basically, you know, you can't sit there and focus on your own, you know, your own clientele, your own business, you know. It's like, man, I have to build a team. I have to hire them. I have to train them. I have to hire them. I have to train them. And that balance, though, was so hard because, you know, I was still trying to travel all over the world and teach. I was still trying to have a full clientele. I was still trying to just keep my own personal life together. It was just a lot to balance, you know. But a lot of lessons learned. And I mean, even learning more, you know, just these times now, it's interesting and tough being a business owner in these times.
Yeah. What's been your experience with COVID? And I know California shut down right now still, or parts of it. I think I heard some of it open. But what's that been like for you, you know, as a business owner? And, you know, how have you been able to kind of survive through it? Because it has been tough and a lot of businesses haven't made it at this point, and potentially more to come. Is this
honestly
what it's gonna do?
Yeah, it's been tough. But let me tell you this, because this is probably the biggest lesson, and it's something I would stress to new hairdressers or just hairdressers in general. I think it's just a lesson I've learned. It's like, because I just remember when I got out of beauty school, or how long I told myself, like, you know, you're so passionate about it that you try to do everything, you know, like you're so passionate. You're trying to have a clientele. You're trying to be a salon owner. You're trying to be an educator. You're trying to travel and be a teacher. You're trying to be a celebrity hairdresser. You're trying to be a editorial hairdresser. You know, you're trying to wear all these different hats, you know? And it really had to boil down to, Brenton, like, what is the hat? You can't wear all these hats. And it took me a long time to learn that.
Uh-huh.
And what is the thing that really brings you joy, you know? What is, as far as hairdressing goes. And for me, it was the education. I love to teach.
Okay.
It was like, okay, Brenton, can you kind of tone back on the salon owner thing and focus on, you know, don't try to wear so many hats, you know?
Right.
So anyway, I say all that to say, I knew I still wanted to own a salon, but what I had before, you know, I had a 31 station salon or however many chairs.
Ooh, can you spell headache? Okay.
Oh my goodness, yep, you know, 30 something stations, and you know, you're trying to juggle it all, and you're not doing well at any of them because you're just wearing too many, trying to juggle them. And I was like, nothing's, yes, quote on surface, it looks great. I'm doing all these things, but it was like the lesson I learned was you're just trying to do too much, you know. So anyway, I feel all that to say, in 2016, I moved into a smaller space.
Okay.
Which was a small boutique salon. And I'm really glad I did that, knowing all of this was going to happen, you know? I mean, not knowing all of this was going to happen. So the salon, it's been tough. I feel for like the hairdressers that still work with us because, you know, being able to work so many months out of this year.
Right.
You know, but it's there. The salon's still there. It's been staying afloat.
Right.
We're just doing what we can, just like everyone else.
Right. Right.
Working through these times, trying to stay positive, but it's like, who knew? And I'm sure you can agree with this. You know, you think about those days where you can see 15, 20 people on a Saturday and stuff like that. Who knew? Where we thought we were invincible.
Yeah.
I tell that it just goes to like boom, like man, wow.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the things. It's like I'm trying to talk with people. I'm actually going to do a clubhouse tomorrow, you know, just like a 2021 check-in, because it's like just hearing all the different tolls that it's taking, you know, the financial toll. It's like what's going on with the clients. It's like I'm hearing like a lot of people with no shows and last minute cancellations and that type of thing. And then of course people who haven't come back, but the whole mental emotional toll is another thing for the people who are servicing clients, where they're, you know, the clients are coming in, you know, almost just dumping everything out. And it's just like, woo, at the end of the day, you're going home with, you know, however many people's stuff.
Yeah.
In addition to your own, you know, trying to navigate all of this. So it's definitely a lot. And I think, you know, that whole repositioning or reinventing is key. We can't do the 15, 20 clients like we used to, because it's like you got to have some, you know, almost sterilize the entire salon in between each one.
Yeah.
And mentally and everything else. So gotta work smarter than harder. So,
yeah. And I think, you know, just looking at the positive, yes, it's been hard and, you know, it's been tough, but if we look at the positive, I remember me and you were talking about this a month ago. It's like, it's just the time to kind of reinvent yourself, or, you know, think about priorities, or, you know, this situation has forced us to really put everything in perspective, but then also say, you know, kind of focus on what's most important to us, whether that's our families, you know, our faith, whatever that is. It's kind of like help us put things in perspective, and or like reinvent yourself, you know, kind of focus on things, different things.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think that's what this whole global pandemic is about. It's like, okay, sit down for a minute, stop running around like we all have been, and really look at, you know, what is important. You know, what is important and what do we need to focus on, and what's like, you know, all the stuff we were running around for, was it really important? You know?
Yeah. And for myself, I've appreciated, you know, just talking about everything we're talking about. I'm 32 now, but my whole 20s was juggling all of that, you know?
Right.
I've been married now for 8 years too. I'm just like, man. So I opened the salon in January of 2012.
Okay.
I got engaged in June of 2012, and I got married in January of 2013.
Okay.
So I say that to say, like Brenton was running full speed.
Right, right. Yeah,
Family and business and my personal life and my spiritual life and like everything was just
right,
honestly I've appreciated this time. I've
right.
appreciated of like
Yeah,
me and my wife are spending time together and it's just I love it.
yeah, absolutely right. And congratulations, happy anniversary to you.
Thank you. Yeah, anniversary night. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's wonderful because I think that does help with the balance thing. Even though it's kind of hard. But what has been your best experience with trying to balance it all prior to COVID? Any suggestions for others?
Um,
I
you
mean,
know,
other than trying
yeah.
to identify what really, makes you happy.
hmm Two things. I think it's for sure prioritizing,
Hmm.
prioritizing, prioritizing. So that's the first thing, and that's, I mean, it's a simple word, but it's a really important word.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what that actually means to you.
Yeah, prioritize. So,
Shows up in real life,
huh?
or how it shows up in real life.
Yeah. So I know the things are important to me. My family is important. My spirituality is important to me.
Mhm.
My relationship with God. That those are things that are important to me.
Right.
And let's just say specifically talking about those things. But it's amazing how easy, you know, you're juggling, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, and like you kind of lose priority.
Hmm.
Or okay, Brenton's 4 or 5 days in the salon, and now on the weekends he goes and leaves to another state to go teach a class or another country, and it's just like wow, the things that really bring you true joy, they're lacking because you're just all over the place.
Hmm.
Anyways, that prioritizing is important. It's really important.
Right.
So I'm a I call myself a spiritual person. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness my whole life,
Okay.
and so those things are important to us, like putting those things first,
Right.
and really doing that. It does give you joy, putting that first, putting your family first.
Right.
So when I say prioritize, it's thinking about what's important. And so the second thing is then, okay, you do that. Now you need to simplify. You need to try to simplify. So
Mhm.
what do you need to try to simplify so you can put those things first? Okay, I need to simplify how much I'm working. I need to simplify how much I'm really trying to do. And I love my work. And that's the thing. I love hair so much. I love it so much. It doesn't feel like work that that can easily take over
Right.
because I enjoy doing it. I love it so much. It was never felt like work to work in the salon or go travel. I loved it. But
Hmm.
then, you got to keep your priorities in line. So that when I say simplify, it's like, okay, what can you do to kind of keep this in its place so that you can stay more balanced and not so stressed out and continue to keep joy in your life and putting the things that really matter first.
Right. Right. Yeah. It reminds me of that quote about don't let the good get in the way of the great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's easy for it's like, oh, well, this is, it's like, I like this and I want to do that. And just kind of be all over the place. But like you say, those priorities
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's probably the biggest thing I've learned and the lessons I've learned. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about salons, but any suggestions for someone who's thinking about starting a salon? Because there are people opening salons right now, and I've got I think a couple questions that we'll put up as well. So go ahead and tell us what your thoughts might be for potential salon owners, because it is one of those things.
Yeah.
Ask a group of people, it's like, who wants to own a salon? I
Yeah.
do.
Let's see. Um,
If you were
yeah.
starting
So,
today.
so much. So much. I don't even know where to start it so much. Oh man, so much, so much. Okay, but I would say to start with is um don't let your emotions overshadow reality. Okay, now let me explain.
Break that one down. Okay.
So, you know, my ego and pride when I was like 22 opening a salon was like bigger the better, bigger the better, you know? It
Mm,
was like, okay, my first salon, 30 chairs, okay, and then I want to open one in New York, and then I want to open one in Chicago. So I had all these big dreams and goals. So don't get me wrong, it's not wrong to to dream and you know and to have that. That's what our inspiration is.
mhm.
But if I would do things differently, now looking back, I would have opened up um, 10 chair salon
Okay. Uh-huh.
and make that one very, very successful and profitable. And then say, okay, that one's running good, systems are in place, management's good, it's running like a well-oiled machine. Okay, now I've saved my money. I'm
Right.
not just running off of emotions and you know.
Right.
Okay, now I everything makes sense on paper and not just in my head and heart to go, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's like don't let your emotions overshadow reality. Like the reality was I was broke and I was trying to make things work versus like,
Right.
you know, really instead of running off of emotions, I was like really doing things right, like saving the money. So anyway, I say all that to say if I was gonna tell someone that if they're opening up a salon now, it's just like keep it simple, grow, get it to a well-oiled machine, and then let it grow, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And I
Yeah.
think that that's huge because
Yes.
we always go big, you know, and try to grow into it, but you know, so
Yeah.
whether that's starting with 2 chairs, okay,
Mhm.
you know, 2 chairs and or even 1 chair.
Right. Right.
Maybe you have a split. If you're gonna hire somebody, can you train somebody? Okay, great. Now you have somebody who takes that chair and they're doing well. You've invested in them and they're doing well. Okay, now grow slowly, grow. You know, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like wisdom speaking. So
Oh, we're doing so differently, but I don't regret it. You know, I don't regret.
right.
That's I think the beautiful thing about you know
Right.
trials tribulations. You learn from it. You know,
Exactly.
those hard times you learn from it, and I can honestly salon. Okay, here's what I did. Don't do this. Don't do this. I don't regret it, but
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Donette Little says, yes, it's a lot, but well worth it. And she was referring to the salon. And she also has some questions. So let's see if we can pull some of those. In your experience of hiring staff, do you find that they only want to learn or be trained by you or open to outside education? Do you think there's a different respect level learning from the owner? Any
Mm.
thoughts on her question?
Yeah, wow, that's um, a good question. I did see that. Of course, like when I had this in the salon, you know, especially when I was really, really trying to hire and train. Yeah, these people come to your salon because of the culture that you've created.
Hmm.
You know, so let's give an example. Vidal Sassoon salons. You know, you
Hmm.
go to that salon, they have a strong culture. You know,
Right.
so yeah, you go in there and you go, wow, I want to cut hair like these people. I want to do hair like them. So I tried to create that culture in our environment too. It was a salon based on education and
Hmm.
yeah, I want you to come work here because you want to learn from our culture. So I did. With that said, you know, Brenton was the face of the salon. So it's
Hmm.
like yes, people did want to learn from me.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, but I always encourage. But hey, you need to
Right.
go learn from others. Yeah, go out and learn. Be trained
Right.
by yeah, definitely. And we were more specific with our culture. Like we are a Wella salon. We use Wella color and things like that. So I
Hmm.
think you do have to, you know, like we always said, our cutting methodology was satin and our color was Wella culture of as far as the go. I mean, as far as color goes. So
Hmm.
yeah, you don't want to you always encourage people to go out and learn and learn different things, but you want to make sure even what they're learning and bring it back, it still fits into your core and your culture of your salon.
Right. Right. And Donette says, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your question.
Yeah, yeah, that was good. If anyone else has questions, feel free to ask them. And if you're on Facebook, it's like we can see like Donette's name and some of the other folks that are here, but some of you, it just says Facebook user. So if you look at the bottom of the StreamYard intro, it'll have a place where you could put your name if you would like. You don't have to, but it's like it makes us so we can say hi to you and identify you. And thanks for your comments. So we appreciate it. So you mentioned the education being the thing that was like, okay, that's what's lighting my fire. And so if there's someone who's wanting to get into education, wanting to get into working with a company, you know, with a product line, what suggestions might you have for them? And can you tell us a little bit as far as even your experience, you know, what you do with Wella? Because sometimes we see the title, we see that you do it, but, you know, what does that look like?
Yeah. So and this is really a general answer, but I think it really has some weight to it. It's because this is my thought process when I was getting out of school. It was like, and this is, and you would agree, it's true. It's like you are who you hang out with, or you know, we heard that, or birds of a feather flock together, or show me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. You know, things like that. So if you want to be an educator, you know, go hang out with educators. You know, so for me at that moment when I was like, hey, I want to be an educator, I stalked Patrick Bradley. You know Patrick Bradley. He's been on here, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've interviewed Patrick. I stalked Patrick. Like I wanted to do everything he did. You know, I wanted to cut hair like him. I wanted to color hair like him. I wanted to be on stage like him.
Yes.
And I honestly would say I wouldn't be the educator I am today if it wasn't for Patrick.
Okay.
As far as the editorial and celebrity kind of thing that I got into, I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for Nico.
Okay.
So that's the thing I would say. You know, you want to be an educator. It's like, so the idea really is mentor.
Absolutely.
I know mentors and learn from them. You want to be a great salon owner? Hang out with great salon owners. You'll become a great salon owner.
Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah. And it's actually even part of what Beauty Superstars Talk is about. You know, it's like you do become who you hang out with. And so, you know, we have an availability for you to hang out with the best, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So now, I got into education when I was 18, 19 years old. Okay. My first platform that I was on was with Patrick and, working with PLMN and, worked and traveled with him and doing education and classes. And then I branched off. I started doing my own thing. So I started to, I was doing the show circuit with my own brand, Brenton Lee Pro. And I came out with my own, DVDs and tools and things like that. And then, I said, I want to do something more. So I was already doing a lot of competitions for Wella. And it was interesting. I was in that circuit of competing with Wella, and Wella approached me.
Okay.
So that's how it happened. I knew I wanted to work for a big company in the industry. And Wella approached me and said, hey, we would love for you to come audition to be an educator for us. And it was 2012, and I went and did an audition, and then since then I've been on the team as a Wella artist. Awesome. So really, what that entails is my role is of course everything has changed now, but what that would entail, my role is whether that's salons or hair shows or VIP events for the company. My job was just to represent the company as an artistically. So doing hair and talking about the products and things. Yeah. And I think that's where I really enjoyed the field I enjoyed in the industry was that of giving, and helping people. There's nothing more satisfying than you sharing something and you seeing people's light bulbs go off and you're able to share something. So that's the same with you, we know what the Bible says, there's more happiness in giving than receiving. We find joy in giving. And that's why we're hairdressers too. We give I really enjoyed giving in that part of,
Right.
training.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's definitely, I think, opportunities, but like you say, you kind of have to put yourself in those positions
Yeah.
and sometimes stalk people. And it's like, I
Yeah.
get,
And then, yeah, you run into the right people who are willing to share. And yeah,
yeah.
I'm very fortunate. I ran into those people who I stalked them,
Hmm.
and they were more than willing to help and share. And you surround yourself with those people, and you be you follow those footsteps and become
Yeah.
that type of person too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a student, Soft Sheen was really big. It was relatively new and really big. And so I would go to every event that they had. And it was, like one trainer in our area. And one of the times he was like, "Are you stalking me?" I was
Uh,
and I'll be back for the next one. I'll be right on the front
yeah,
row.
yeah,
And yeah, it's like anything and everything that you're doing, anything I want to learn. I want
yeah.
to soak it in.
So let me tell you a quick story, two quick stories, really quickly. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was telling you about Nico, who was a mentor, and
Mm-hmm.
working at his salon when I first started, and um, I actually ended up running to their salon when I had first started beauty school, 18 years old.
Okay.
And I told you I was in school for 2 years. I showed up to that salon every single weekend. They
No.
would have education at the salon. I was there. So he ended up telling me, he's like, "Wow, you're here all the time." He's like, "You want to be here more than my stylists that are working here."
Right.
So it just so happened now I'm finishing school. He's looking for another assistant, and I made myself available
Mm-hmm.
with Patrick. I remember I was going to all these different hair shows, competing, and I was like, man, I want to be just like him. I want to teach like him. And every class I was in there, every single class, all his classes. And so here it comes. Brenton finished school, and he's like, "Hey man, I want you to come join me. I want you to train." Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like that's almost another form of giving, even though you're trying to get at the same time. But it's like you're there, you're showing up, you're showing them that you're dependable, you're showing them that you're interested,
Yeah.
because it's like you're not, in a job situation or in something where you're obligated to be there, and
Mhm.
you're making the efforts to show up.
Yeah.
So, it's like I feel like success leaves clues,
Yeah.
and you're leaving us a lot of clues tonight. So I hope everybody's picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, yeah, definitely that drive and that desire, like you say, just to be the best that you can be
Hmm.
is awesome. So
Thank you.
yeah. So what's next for you? It's like you're, you know, on lockdown, I guess you'd say right now, and not able to travel with the education, but I'm sure you're doing a lot of virtual education. But and you have your tools
Yeah.
and the education that you're doing separately. Is that right? With
Yeah.
classic education?
So yeah, it's been nice. Wella has still been doing a lot of digital things.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing a lot of that, whether it's IG lives and things like that.
Okay.
Um, so that's good. Yeah. And of course, we'll see how things roll out as things become safer to travel and things like that.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I came out with my own flat iron and things like that, and my own kind of personal brand. And I
Mm-hmm.
started this, uh, wow, maybe 2013 or something. But it
Mm-hmm.
was something I never really got to focus on because, again, you're juggling all those hats.
Right. Right.
It was, and so yeah, I've been able to utilize this year to say, okay, Brenton, you can, one door closes, or it's tough.
Right.
Okay, shift your energy and work on something else. And so, anyways, I was able to come out with a shear this year. I was
Nice.
able to come out with some other tools of clips and combs and a couple brushes and things. So yeah, really kind of focusing on the brand and still working with Wella. And yep, salon's still there. Of course, we're still shut down right now. So just
Okay.
kind of keeping everything in its place and in its perspective too.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's really exciting. It's like I think it's a necessity. It's like you say, one door closes, there's something else that's going to open, a window, a door, a hatch of some sort. It's like we just have take or see whatever it is that we can see.
Yeah. Yep.
To keep ourselves moving forward and to be of service.
Exactly.
Yeah. And right now, like, who would you say are like the folks that are inspiring you? Is it still Patrick and Nico, or are there additional people that are just kind of, where you want to be in the future? Because I know the mentors.
Yeah. I'm still always stalking them from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely people who are always, they've inspired me from day one.
Right.
And what I mean from a distance is because we haven't been in touch much lately as we want to. So I'm always still watching them. Like, okay, I'm always still learning from them. Definitely, always learning.
Yeah.
But honestly, there's so many people that inspire me. Even on our own Wella team.
Right.
So many people internationally or even just right here in the US that inspire me. We got so many amazing people on the team.
Awesome.
But if I'm saying specifically people I can't really say who specifically, like a person that's really inspiring me right now. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think people in general are inspiring me right now.
Yeah.
You get to a certain point where, and I don't want to say that I'm at that point now, but you get to a certain point where, like, you still get inspired by people, like that you want to follow or be like, but then your inspiration now comes from people that you could kind of reach out and help. You know what I mean? So I don't want to say I've reached a plateau in the industry, but now it hasn't been so much of like, okay, Brenton, you strive to do this. It's kind of like, okay, Brenton, you do have some experience.
Right.
Now, how can you keep sharing that experience? I don't know if that makes sense.
Totally.
So I think like my inspiration lately has not so much been like people who I want to be like or follow, but it's been more the people of like, okay, how on my Instagram can I encourage the people who follow me? Or, I have tools. How can I utilize my tools to help people in the salon? Things like that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And just being inspired creatively, trying to to come up with different looks and stuff.
Yeah. And I saw nature was inspiring you on your IG live that you did days ago. Yeah. But talk to us about social media. It's like one of the things I want to talk to you under 40 about is what are you doing social media? Like, how much does that contribute to your success, and what tips, would you share with us, with folks that are still, it's like maybe we're getting it a little, maybe we're not, maybe we're struggling and don't want to say anything, but what things are working for you?
Oh my goodness. Social media is a whole nother beast.
Exactly.
It's like always evolving. You're trying to keep up with it. I think I've done decent. I think I could do better, of course. But just one thing that I try to focus on is making sure anything I put out is professional. We hear that all the time, but it's just so true. It's like put out stuff that's going to represent you in the best way. I hardly put anything on my social media that's personal. Very, very rarely. I keep it very, like, what you see in my title, that's what you're gonna see in my pictures.
Okay.
So if it says Wella Design Team, da 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 da, or I don't even exactly remember what my title is. But I don't put anything other than that in my pictures. I want to represent professionalism and represent creativity and inspiration.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, you sprinkle some personal things here and there. But if I can give anything that I've been really focused on, is that, and then, what is it that makes you unique? What is it that makes you unique? And put that out there. And I think we all need encouragement, especially now. So my focus is, or always hashtag influencing growth and beauty. So
Mm,
I only want to put out things that's going to be encouraging or something that's going to influence someone to help them grow
right.
or the beauty industry in general. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds powerful. Okay. Those are some good tips.
And of
We-
course, the things we do know, consistency of your post and all that stuff. Those are all the things I still struggle with. I'm so inconsistent with all that stuff, but
it's not easy. Not easy. I am going to read this. She said her name is Melissa Watson. Thank you both for sharing. Brenton mentioned his ego and immaturity a few times. Just wondering how long ago and what made him realize the need to change and make him who he is today. Was it a person, a class, an event?
whoa, that's a
Good question, huh?
very good, deep question.
Thank
Wow, yeah. Okay, that's a
you,
good
Melissa.
question. Thank you. Um, you know what it is? If we meditate on the word humility,
Mm,
okay? You meditate on that word humility, and that's like seeing others superior than you know? Or you can humbly say to yourself, there's always somebody that's better than me,
mhm,
you know? And yeah, I don't want to say that I always thought I was the greatest or the best, but I tried to stay humble enough to say, you know what, I can continue to learn from others.
mhm,
So basically, it was like, okay, if the salon's not doing well, okay, I need to go to a class and figure this out. You know, um, I'm glad I work for a great company with Wella, who's an amazing hairdresser, and I can easily say, oh, Brenton, I can do this all on my own, or you can go run and do your own stuff, which I could, you could, but it's like, wow, there's a lot to learn from the culture that Wella has. They're one of the top industries in the industry. So I
mhm,
think that kind of helps me keep my perspective as an artist. So
mhm,
anyway, I say all that to say it did take me some time to say, all right, Brenton, yes, you want to be the best, the best, the best, the best, but realize there's always somebody that's superior to you or that you can learn
mhm,
and I think that only comes with age and maturity and time,
mhm.
you know, with age, maturity, and time. So
Yeah, I think that maturity word is one of the keys because I mean it takes a certain maturity to have humility.
exactly, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So that's a really good question because yeah, you talk to these like maybe it's these new hairdressers who are like, maybe they're getting out of school and they just think like, oh yeah, I want to just do this. I want to almost, and it's like it's okay. There's nothing wrong with having those goals and dreams and stuff. But if you surround yourself around the right people and
Hmm.
continue to say, you know what, I want to continue to learn from different people, and it'll take you far. It'll take you far, you know. So going back to why I was even saying like before about me owning a salon and it took me so long to learn those lessons. I jumped out, but instead of like getting with the right people and say, okay, what were your struggles? What did you do? My immaturity and thinking I was so great at the moment, I had to go jump to fall to say, okay,
Hmm.
so
But like you say, sometimes that's the best way to learn.
it is true.
Yeah. And sometimes I think the only reason, I share this, the only reason to open a salon is because you just can't imagine life without opening a salon.
Yeah.
Like you have to do it like from inside yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be like you say, the whole, well, everybody says I'm really good, I should open a salon. It's like, do you like have that drive that like no matter what anybody says, it's like, I gotta do this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the only reason. It's
Yep.
like other than that, find something else to do.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much. It's like you have been absolutely wonderful and definitely gave us some serious nuggets to chew on to, it's like what makes a winner. And also like with competing your way to the top, that those competitions can really create a great foundation for you to build the rest of your career on. So for anyone who's not competing or not considering competing, maybe look at it like Brenton's color experience, and, try it out, try it on. And Wella has a competition coming up. So can you tell us a little bit about that? And I'm going to share Rockstar Cuts. Dewana says, thanks for the interview and information.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thanks for being here, Dewana. She's been very, very loyal and supportive. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, so Wella's competition, the Beauty and Vision Awards.
Okay.
Beauty, and you can go to beautyandvisionawards.com to see the information on there. And what's so cool, it's all straight on Instagram. You just boom, upload your picture, put your hashtags on there. There's different categories that you can enter, from bridal to color to creative, nails. There's so many different categories you can enter. And the entries just opened up January 15th.
Okay.
So, what day's day? Yeah, a couple days ago.
20th. Yeah, I think. Aren't we?
It's 19th, right? So yeah, it just opened up 4 days ago, and it extends all the way up until May. So if you have pictures, boom, you can submit them, or you have time to do some things. Nice. So yeah, that's a competition I definitely encourage to enter. That's one that I've entered maybe six times.
Wow.
And I was a finalist 5 times.
Wow.
And yeah, that competition, it pushed me though, and I learned so much from it,
Right.
And again, it's not about the winning, but the experience I was able to get from that competition was just like, wow, mind blowing.
Right.
Mind blowing, like you're just pushing yourself. Then Behind the Chair has different competitions, the One-Side Awards, that's all online. But yeah, just get out there. And I always say there's nothing bad that comes from entering. I really tried to meditate over that over the years. It's like, does any negatives come from entering a competition? There's none.
Right.
Like, what's the worst that could happen? You just enter, and if you win, great. If but there's so many positives, like we talked about.
Right.
You're learning, you're pushing yourself, you're thinking outside the box, you're bettering yourself. Yeah. I just remember even the energy and aura in the salon when, we just had everybody was entering and things. It's like, it's fun. Yeah. And then on top of that, you get to travel if you make it to the finals or the awards or recognition, whatever.
Right.
That suits you. But if you enter for yourself, there's nothing wrong that you can go. No wrongs in that.
Right. And I would think that there's more learning to be done from, the other competitors, where you're like seeing work and it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting.
Oh, man.
Inspirational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good story. Yeah. So I won gold for US for Trend Vision 1 year.
Okay.
I go compete internationally.
Okay.
I go, represent the United States in this international competition with 60 other countries.
Wow.
Yeah. And so you're there and you're just like, wow, I thought I did so good. And then you see like China and Korea and all, Lithuania and Russia and all these, and you're just like, okay, I have no chance. I have no chance. But then I learned so much just seeing their work.
Right. Yeah.
You're so inspired by just like, wow, okay, a whole nother discipline in some of these countries, or the work they put out. You learn so much. So I was like, I knew I wasn't going to win, but I'm just happy that I'm surrounded by these people.
Right. Yeah. I got to attend, and now I can't remember what it was, but it was in London, and I got to attend it. And there was a small group of us from, with my group from the US. And it was, just stage presentations all day for like 3 days, I think, something like that. But they had a whole like VIP section that was, I think, from China. And because of the language barrier, they had set up lunches and everything from it, for them specifically, their tour people or what have you. And it was just like amazing to see so many people who were like so dedicated. I mean, and they were just tuned in, they were taking notes and all of that, and just really serious about their craft. And, there was a group of us that I went with, and we were all Black, but we were like one in, a few, what do they call it? A few specks in the, in the whole room. And then we were meeting a few people who were like from London. And it's like, how are the people who live in London not here? You know what I mean? You don't have to travel, you don't have to do anything, but come here and, enhance your skills. So it's just really interesting when you do see people from other countries and what they're doing and the skill level and the elevation of the craft. It's powerful. Yeah.
So true. And you say, you asked a question even earlier about inspiration. I do get inspired a lot about people's work in other countries. I think if you're looking at people's work in other countries, it's amazing. Like, they're on a whole other level.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. And it's really forward, they're getting the trends or setting the trends prior to what we're seeing in the US.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Like some of the Russians work, Korea, even you think of like the stuff that's coming out of the UK and like the British Hairdressing Awards, like all those oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, it's another level.
Exactly.
And you're kind of following it and watching that,
Right. Yeah, well, I want to thank you. This has been amazing. It's like I'm, like all like, I probably won't be able to sleep tonight because it's just like so much, good energy and so many positive things that you're doing and things that you shared with us just to help us become better hairstylists. And, whether it's in the salon, whether it's competing, whether it's doing any of the other things that you do or any of the other things that, we might aspire to do. It's like there is a foundation to it. There are some, some belief systems that have to be in place. There's some drive that has to be there. And so we definitely appreciate you, sharing, everything so generously. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And thanks for what you're doing. Appreciate it. The platform you're creating for people to share and the platform for people to learn. That's awesome. It's really cool.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Super excited about it. And like I said, we've got more stuff coming for 2021. So we're just, still getting the word out and letting people know and that this is available because it's like this is all resources that you could spend thousands of dollars getting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
that's true. Yeah, and especially, like you mentioned, the next generation of it's the next generation of hairdressers, especially now. Wow. I feel for you. They need some support and some platforms to learn,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we thought we had it bad, Man, it's
Yeah, there's a lot. There's going to be a lot to deal with as we, we're already shifting into whatever the new normal is. But, it's definitely going to be different worlds for a while.
But the positive thing or the good thing is it's like, so much is available, right at our fingertips, click of a button.
Absolutely.
You got to take advantage of it and continue to learn.
And
there's so much education online now. It's like, you think of like what you had to do or what I had to do of like go spend thousands of dollars to go sit in a class for 5 days or 10 days, whatever it might be. It's like, you got so much right at your fingertips. So
yeah, absolutely. But the other, I guess, flip side of that is that you can easily be distracted.
Exactly. And overwhelmed by too much stuff.
Right. Or take classes.
And the wrong stuff.
Yeah. It's like I've got a mastermind for people who have taken all these classes, but they haven't gotten the results because it's like we've got to get focused and get this accountability and all those things to really be able to put the things into action first.
But to do it, just do it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we gotta put that up on the Instagram. Nothing to do but to do it.
Yep. Nothing to it.
Yeah. Well, next week we'll be back, same time, same station, and it will be the last person in our 4 under 40, and that is Jasmine Black. She's with Studio Lush Detroit. And she is a hairstylist, a hair colorist, and salon owner. And so she's going to talk to us about her salon that she's built primarily on social media. But she also is known for her blondes on textured hair and keeping that integrity and just having some tremendous dimension and tonality to them. And people are, top people who are top artists that you recognize are flying into Detroit for her to train them to become better with these blondes on Black women and women who have textured hair. So I can't wait to meet with her, and I hope you'll join us. That's next Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then we'll be moving into February, which we're going to be focused on the state of the salon industry. And I've got some great guests that'll be coming up to talk about the different parts of the salon industry and all the shifts and changes and that type of thing that are being made for us, in a lot of ways, and what we need to do to kind of get on track. And so Shannon King will be my first guest, and he's got 2 salons up in the Brooklyn area. And so I can't wait to talk with him as a salon owner with 2 salons during all of this, just kind of navigating, like, what does it look like to, lead the team during that time? What does it look like to stay open, to take care of the clients? And what do we need to do moving forward? And in some cases, it might be that we don't know, but we want to be here as a support and a good reference point for you to get grounded and get rooted and see what things could work for you. So I appreciate everyone being here. It's like, please visit beautysuperstars.com. It's like we do have a free gift, which is a video on 7 ways to get your finances back in order if 2020 did a number on them. And so you can go there and get the download right away. And also I've got, this is the end of my birthday weekend, and I have a special on a training that's for now. And it's 5 ways to increase your salon sales without double booking or raising prices. And the raising prices if you don't want to, but you can definitely raise them. I'm happy to help you raise them. But but that it's an online course, and it's available. It's at the MikiWright.Thinkific site. And you can get that 70% off until tonight at midnight for Pacific time. So it's only $29, and you can have access to that, as well as the forms and everything that come with it to help you get your income going up. So if you're not making more than you were before the pandemic, then you definitely need to check it out. So again, I want to thank you guys for being here, and it's like, just so appreciate you, Brenton. And
yeah, thank you.
To know you better. Yeah,
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, take good care, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you are here in person, we appreciate you being here. And if you are listening on a replay, if you're listening on the podcast, thank you so much. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. So
Alrighty.
take care.